knock. Hi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Knock Knock Hi with the Glaucomfleckens. I am Dr. Glaucomfleck, also known as Will Flannery.
I am Lady Glaucomflecken, also known as Kristen Flannery.
And Kristen would like everyone to know that she was born ready for this.
Born ready.
She was, every time before we record, I was like, Kristen, you ready?
I'm always ready.
She's born ready. She's ready. So I got some topics today. It's been a while since we've sat down. We had a couple weeks off where we weren't doing anything.
We even went on a vacation. What?
We did. Not even a working one.
Yeah.
I've got something to say about that here in a little bit.
Okay.
First, very important question to ask you. Give me one, not even a question. I want you to give me one good reason why I shouldn't buy an air hockey table.
Oh, I have none. I love air hockey. Although I'm a little surprised.
Okay.
Here's the first thing that comes to my mind.
I haven't even told you how much they are yet.
I don't care. Let's get one.
Oh,
No, I'm
okay.
just
Well,
kidding.
yeah.
But the first thing that came to my mind was pucks flying at your face and your eyes. So I was assuming you would make us all wear safety goggles if we get one.
Have you played air hockey before?
Yes. They don't really fly off that much.
When has a
But it
puck
could.
ever-
But that's what flew into my mind when you said, "Give me a reason not to." That's the only thing I could think of.
Okay, but I do.
What's more likely is that the little things that you hit the puck with, that would fly out.
Yeah, I like where your head's at with wearing, being overly cautious as far as eye safety goes. You know, I love that.
Yeah, I've been trained.
But I think the biggest concern for air hockey table is getting your fingertips smashed.
Yeah.
Like you don't realize it. I could totally see that with the kids. They got their hands right where they're not supposed to be.
I've had that happen
then,
before. Yeah, it hurts.
Gets you right in the nail bed.
Yeah.
We got the ping pong table.
Yeah.
It's
a slippery slope. I feel like you are on a roll.
We have loved the ping pong. The ping pong table's so much fun. I had a ping pong table growing up. I wanted the kids to have a ping pong table, and our oldest is getting pretty good. She's getting pretty good at ping pong.
Mm-hmm.
Youngest is right behind her.
Mm-hmm. I am terrible at ping pong and have no hope of improvement.
Not good. But that's why we should get something that you enjoy as well, which would be air hockey.
I do have really fast reflexes.
So anyway, okay, so you have not given me $5,000. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a lot of money
for like
for just a
$5,000
garage toy.
Well, so what I've learned is with air hockey tables, and I'm glad we're giving everybody this information on the podcast, is that if you get a cheap one, they're no good.
Oh, really?
It's a very specialized machine because you got to blow the air.
Yeah, a lot of airflow dynamics,
and there's electricity happening, and I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a thing you want to cheap out on.
Yeah, maybe it's one of those things where you get what you pay for. So
I'm going straight to Facebook Marketplace.
Oh boy,
we're gonna find a deal. Someone doesn't know how much these things. Maybe like a bowling alley that closes down. Who's just trying to sell all their stuff,
right?
You know,
some like arcade.
I don't know why I chose a bowling alley. It doesn't seem like those things survive very often.
Bowling alleys?
Do they?
Sure, they do.
They still have bowling alleys?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they have standalone bowling alleys, but I do see bowling at.
See that's
other,
what I think.
Like at establishments.
I think you got to have other stuff besides just the bowling.
Yeah, maybe.
Like same thing with like skating rinks.
Yeah. Not very many standalone skating rinks anymore.
Exactly, right? So anyway, I'm on a quest to find an affordable, high quality air hockey table so that Kristen can show us all up.
I'm good at air hockey.
I believe we've played a couple times.
Yeah,
I believe you.
You've seen it.
All right, let's talk. We got some healthcare news here in a second.
Okay.
I just had to start off the podcast with a nice long talk about air hockey tables.
Okay, so what's on your mind?
All right, let's go. Some comments. Recently, the episode was put out there of how does EMS actually work behind the scenes. So we talked to Jason Pang and Joe Stoffilano, who are the EMS folks out in Ohio, and a lot of great feedback. People liked hearing some of the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, they gave us the rundown of kind of how it all works.
an area of healthcare that we don't get a lot of exposure to or know much about. So this is a comment from at Francis Bowman said, "Great episode. First responders don't get nearly the credit they deserve from the public at large. Our rural area is serviced by volunteer EMS with a growing number of paid paramedics. Very helpful tip that dispatchers are trained to walk callers through administering CPR. I'm going to remind family and friends about that."
I have to caveat, I don't have the information about whether they all are, because I think, like, there has been some I think it's a relatively newer development,
Thing.
and
Well, they should. It seems like a very important
it
thing
does.
to for a dispatcher to be able to do.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's a good thing to know. It doesn't take away the fact that everybody needs to know how to do CPR.
Right.
Don't rely on the dispatcher to teach you how to do
Right.
it.
But it is nice because in situations like that,
You might
it's
not
hard
be
to
all
think straight. Yeah, right. Your brain is, like, kind of in shock, so it's helpful to have somebody just telling you what to do.
Yeah. At Kelly 1827 said, "I think an important distinction needs to be made between fire department based EMS,
Oh,
which does receive tax dollars, and non-fire based EMS.
interesting.
Non-fire based may receive a line item in a municipal budget year to year, but it rarely covers all their expenses." See, that's something I remember them talking about, that the difference between the two,
Yeah.
fire based and non-fire based. You got to have the fire to get
Right.
the money,
Yeah.
the government money. So anyway.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it's interesting stuff. Definitely, people should leave us comments on the YouTube channel. That's where we see them. We
Yeah.
like seeing that feedback. So
Love it.
any episodes you like. All right, healthcare news. Should we do it?
All right, let's do
Okay.
it.
So I was trying to think of well, first of all, there's a thing called ChatGPT Health.
Nope.
ChatGPT Health.
Yep.
Right. Not ChatGPT, not TP. Not toilet paper health. Toilet paper is very important for your health. Chat GPT.
Got it.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, there's a health version of it.
Yes.
You heard about this?
Yes.
Okay. So I have not.
I haven't looked into it, but I'm aware of it.
I haven't explored it completely, but I do know that it's like this new thing where people can upload their medical documentation.
Yeah.
Not sure about this. Not sure about. I get it.
Like the thinking behind using,
Yeah.
like, it could be a useful tool,
Right.
like, just on its surface.
Right.
However, of course, people are going to be doing things with this data. Like, you're giving your medical records to some company that who knows what they are going to do with it now or down the line.
Yeah, I can't wait for ChatGPT to announce their next
insurance.
Yeah, their next partnership with United Healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what? United Healthcare is going to get all that information that you're uploading. And I don't want to be all conspircy theorist, but I feel like we kind of have to.
But it is a
because
possibility.
This is like a distinct thing when you're giving a corporation that is a for-profit company.
Are they?
All of your health
they
information.
Are
they? I'm sure they are. OpenAI? Yes. OpenAI is not a nonprofit.
They have some.
There's no way.
Business model that it caught my attention when I heard about it. I was like, really?
It's like, it's not it's anyway.
Yeah,
so
you do pay for it, but you can pay for things to nonprofits.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can. Nonprofit does not mean
I know.
money.
I know. Anyway, it's this interesting thing because the arguments for it,
hold on.
What?
The business model is a hybrid combining a mission-driven nonprofit, the OpenAI Foundation, that controls a for-profit public benefit corporation, OpenAI Group PBC.
Okay, I'm not totally sure what that all means, but
it means they're trying to say that they are for the public good via their business model.
But they're still making money.
Actually, I think they're losing money. They're taking in money, but they have not yet been
Can't
profitable.
pay all the server farms.
Well, I don't know. Look,
Can't pay
I'm not
for all that.
an expert on this topic, but I think like they've had a lot of people invest in them, and
Yeah, so that's what I'm a little bit concerned about,
yeah,
is when you're giving you're taking your MRI, you know, the, interpretation, your notes, your physical notes from your primary care doctor, your cardiologist, your ophthalmologist, whatever, putting them into this company's app and hoping to get, some information.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing. I
It's
don't
the
trust the
privacy.
company.
It's the
Yeah,
privacy that I don't know about. Uh, I understand the arguments for, like, wanting to use, something like ChatGPT
yeah.
for trying to figure out what's going on in your body.
Especially if you have some kind of like rare disease or chronic illness or something that the doctors just have not been able to figure out, or for example you had an idiopathic cardiac arrest. Sure would be good if we could figure out what so that
Yeah.
you could put your heart activity or whatever in there, but
I think we still need to have, like, research data to know, like, how
yeah,
accurate this is,
right,
right? So, you gotta take that, uh, you know, you know, factor that in, the fact that, this is not something that's been studied,
right,
uh, from a research level,
yeah,
and that still needs to be done before we can say, this is something that you can rely on to get
right,
accurate diagnoses, accurate treatment recommendations, because I think that's what people are wanting it for.
yeah,
Because, you see, and I see comments on across social media. People are like, well, I would love to use this because my doctor didn't give me the time of day. My doctor only had 10 minutes
mhm,
to try to, you know, to discuss this.
mhm.
So I'm gonna go to ChatGPT, and I get it.
That is completely understandable.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
understandable. I worry. I worry
yeah,
about where the data's going.
right.
And so just keep that in mind. Like, be careful. Be careful, everyone out there.
Well, and I don't know
Maybe
what.
create an anonymous, like, I don't know if you can do
But
that
your medical
anonymously.
records have your
Well, maybe you can
name on them, don't they?
anonymize it. You
Maybe, but
can
how's the average person gonna do
I don't
that?
know. I just, uh, you know, cut that part off of
Yeah,
your
crop it.
crop it, whatever.
Um,
I don't know.
how do you think though from a physician perspective? Like that was from like a patient perspective, patient safety, but like from the physician perspective, what do you think of this?
Honestly, I think I'm okay with somebody putting in all their symptoms and, the workup that maybe has been done for them to that point,
Mhm.
and coming up with
Are we putting the privacy concerns aside
putting the
or
privacy
okay,
concerns aside.
like
I've
magic
already
wand
Yes.
waved, that's taken
Let's
care
let's
of.
say that this is all very safe and secure.
Okay.
I'm actually okay as a physician if my patient were to put all that stuff into ChatGPT. ChatGPT says, this is what you have, what you could have. There's
Mhm.
probably, I'm sure, the makers of OpenAI, the OpenAI leadership team, they've got to have something, some kind of legal protections against, like,
Mhm.
giving a diagnosis.
Right.
So they're if they don't, that should be, like, top priority, because they're opening themselves to all kinds of crazy liability.
Right.
But yeah, if a patient came to me with that information and said, this is what ChatGPT said, I think I'm okay with that, because
It's not much different than Googling.
right, and it's even, better than Googling, I think, because theoretically it's taking in, like,
More
all more
information.
information,
Mhm.
and then I can take that and, like, put it through my lens as a
Mhm.
physician, my experience treating thousands, tens of thousands of patients, the years I've been doing this, the education training I have, I can filter what they're giving me, what ChatGPT has given the patient,
Mhm.
through all of that,
Mhm.
and it just gives us a starting point to discuss that patient's problem.
Right. You know what I wish I think I haven't thought very hard about this, so I may take this back later, but I think that I wish they would have sold this product to physicians rather than patients, right? Like to make it something that is available for physicians who have systems in place for protecting data and whatnot, that it's just this AI pattern recognition tool to help you
So
see
that does exist.
things. Yes. So, but not from ChatGPT.
No, it's a different company.
Yeah. So that I feel more comfortable with
Right.
because there's someone that I believe is looking out for my, the safety of my data
Yeah.
behind all of that. And not just like out of altruism, but just like there are systems in place and rules and whatnot. So that feels more comfortable to me than just like, hey, everybody, give us all of your medical data. However, the cynical side of me says, well, it's all out there already anyway. So
Well, sure.
what's the difference?
Yeah, that's true. But here's my concern. My primary concern as a physician is that someone will take what ChatGPT says and will take it as like truth
And not consult a
and
physician. Yeah.
not take that to a physician and be like, oh, I guess ChatGPT says I had a vitreous detachment. That's what it is. My retina's fine. But then a couple weeks later, they end up with a retinal detachment because
Right.
they actually had this other thing. So that's my main
Yeah,
concern.
that's why I would be more comfortable with it am more comfortable with it from the other side of if the physician has that knowledge,
Yeah.
they can put that through the lens of their own knowledge, right? But
Right.
if it's just going straight to the patient, what is
Do they know what to do with
the
that?
safety check there?
Right.
What is the
Does the patient know what to do with that? And is ChatGPT, behaving ethically
right?
in terms of the information it's giving somebody?
Yeah.
So we're opening up a whole can of
Yeah.
worms with
Lots
this
of
ChatGPT Health
I
now.
know.
It's one thing when you're
Like,
like,
what's next? ChatGPT law, ChatGPT
well, people
dentistry.
are already talking about like this is the end of lawyers, and
Yeah.
I tend to not believe any of those like grand sweeping statements.
Yeah.
I mean, we're always going to need surgeons, so I guess like I'm kind of safe in that regard. Like,
Until the robots get good at surgery.
man, I don't know. Robots have to be real good.
I mean, you already use robots in surgery
We
sometimes.
do sometimes, but and it does exist with cataract surgery, but you're taking like a relatively affordable surgery and
Mhm.
turning it into some expensive monstrosity when you include
Right.
a $9 million robot.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
like for what? For
for what? For
funsies?
something I can do in 7 minutes?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, so maybe it's me being naive, but anyway, I'm not too concerned.
Might be different in other
Yeah,
specialties
it could
though.
be. Let's take a break. We'll come back. I got a couple more things for you, and including a random topic we're going to learn.
All right. Hey, Will.
Yeah.
It's February. It's the month of love.
It sure is.
Do you know what I love?
Me?
Well, yes. But do you know what else?
I don't know what.
I love eyelid mites now.
You.
Yep.
Eyeballs too, right? Not just the
No.
mites?
No, just the
Oh, just
eyelid
the
mites.
mites.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a start.
But I was just thinking that since they're so common,
Mhm.
like 1 in 12 adults has an overgrowth of eyelid mites, so I should be more accepting.
That makes sense. It's very normal for Demodex mites to be in and around your eyelids too.
Yes. And I know that if they do happen to overpopulate and cause Demodex blepharitis, there's a prescription eye drop treatment, so no need to stress.
So relax. See, if you ever have itchy, irritated eyelids, just go see your eye doctor. They can examine your eyelids, check for crusties, what we call collarettes. Those are the things that mites leave behind. To learn more about eyelid mites and Demodex blepharitis, visit miteslovelids.com. Again, that's miteslovelids.com to learn more. This ad is brought to you by Tarsus Pharmaceuticals. So we'll come back to ChatGPT Health. I need to like
Yeah, we need to learn some more.
learn more about it. But my thing right now is like I'm worried about privacy, but I understand why the public might be excited about it.
Absolutely.
you know?
I think ultimately it's kind of another commentary on just where the healthcare system is. I think a lot of the reasons that the public wants to use it is due to some of the failings of the system.
Sure.
So
And patient autonomy is important, and people wanna feel like they're a little bit more in control of their own health.
right.
So, all right. So we just over New Year's, we did a trip to Disneyland.
Yeah.
We
Which is
did
it's been a little while now. It's like
New Year's.
mid-February.
Yeah, our kids are like when we first went to Disney with them, our youngest was like 4 or 5, like barely remembers anything. So we wanted
Mhm.
now, 5 years later, 4 or 5 years later, we wanted to do one more
Yeah.
before they got like not too old for Disney because like I don't know.
Some people are never too old
Some
for
people
Disney.
never. There's Disney adults. Some people really just like Disney throughout their life.
But, like, once they become, like, solidly into the teenage years, they're kind of, like, unimpressed by everything.
Yeah. It's like
So we wanted to go before that.
the Disney magic takes on like a different feel whenever you're an adult versus when you're a kid. So we
Yeah.
wanted one more time to do it. Had a great time.
Mhm.
It helped that it was rainy. I think it kept some people away. Even New Year's Day at Disneyland Park
Mhm.
wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But I have a story for you related to Disney and also related to Heart Month.
Okay.
It's Heart Month,
It is.
February,
That's right.
right? So we're talking all about hearts. And so I have a story of not when we went to Disney,
Okay.
but the time. So I was in Orlando, and I have a friend who works at
Yes.
Disney,
Mhm.
and so typically be like go to a park whenever I go visit them, um, and uh, and so we went, and I forgot the roller coaster it was, but it was like a legit roller coaster at one of the parks,
Okay.
and so as we were going through the line, toward the end of the line, there was a metal detector.
Mhm.
And I
Set off every
I
metal
set off
detector.
every metal detector I ever go through. So I go through the metal detector, and I think the reason was because it was like an upside down, like super fast, like coaster ride. They
Mhm.
didn't want you to like have anything that could fall out, like phones,
Yeah,
all
sure.
this stuff, right? So that's why they're checking everyone that goes through.
Mhm.
So I go through and set it off, and the this like 18-year-old kid,
Mhm.
right, comes over. He wands me. He's like,
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, that's my defibrillator." And he looked at me and he said, "Sir, you cannot go on this ride."
Mhm.
Like, what are you talking about? It's like, you, that's a heart thing, right? It's like, well, yeah, but it's like, I'm fine. It's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You have a heart condition. You cannot go on this ride.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, no, he is wrong.
Oh,
I do not have a heart condition. I had a
we
thing that
we
happened to
don't
my
know
heart. I had a thing that happened to my heart.
that you don't know why it happened.
And I quickly realized that I tried initially to like argue with, I was like,
Mhm.
well, listen, the pathophysiology of this thing,
Yeah.
right? Is
Oh,
it
boy.
like I just had one episode of ventricular
Just a tiny
tachycardia
little
that progressed
cardiac
into ventricular fibrillation. It was is structurally everything was fine. I had a cardiac MRI. Do you want to see my cardiac MRIs? 18-year-old Disney worker. Um, I,
He's just following the
I
rules, just
know.
doing his
And so I
job.
very quickly realized I was getting nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, hard ass. Like
I mean,
this guy
I don't blame him.
enforced the rules.
You might get
So
him fired if he let you.
if I had a cardiac arrest
Yeah,
at the mid loop.
right.
So anyway, I said, okay. So I got out of line.
Mhm.
I went back into the
Yeah.
line.
And I
Went,
don't like
hold on.
what you chose
went
to
through,
do here.
went through. Fortunately, like they rotate frequently. So it was a different person by the time I got back to the front line,
Mhm.
set off the metal detector. And then the same
Mhm.
thing wanted me
Mhm.
as like shrapnel. I got, a car accident.
Ugh, I don't like this on multiple levels.
They sent me through.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a great ride. It was awesome.
I hate it. I
Why?
hate it.
So you think I shouldn't be allowed to ride? Any ride this is, guess what? Every single ride at Disneyland,
Yeah.
even Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
No, you don't know that because you didn't do that one.
had a this is not recommended for any people with heart conditions. It's a liability thing. It's a legal thing.
I get
Every
that,
single ride.
But the reason it's a liability thing is because for some of them, it can be an issue
So
for
what
some
would you
people.
suggest that
And
I do?
we don't know why you had a cardiac arrest. So we can't say for sure that, like, I know all your tests are normal, but then why did you have a cardiac arrest,
You're
right? Like, there's
okay,
something going on.
but it wasn't trauma related. It wasn't
No,
like I get so excited on a roller coaster, my heart stops beating. It was
sure.
so
But, like, because I don't know, this is where we differ. I would err on the side of caution where you just don't care. You
you
just
honestly don't think
for
I should
something
ride
like
roller
that,
coasters?
like a big I don't know is what I'm saying. I don't know.
So my
I
cardiologist,
can't, like,
I know
sweepingly
because my
say,
cardiologist told me. He said you have no restrictions. You can do anything you want. You can run, you
"Okay."
can sprint, you can jump,
I'm not
you
sure
can
if he was thinking of roller
you
coasters,
can
like,
he
he didn't
said
say that
specifically
specifically.
he said
No, he did
specifically,
not.
you go to Disneyland and you could ride roller coasters at
He
Disneyland.
didn't.
I
Also, like, my question is that messing up your defibrillator? Like,
It's
all the jostling
no, come
and
on.
some of them are quite rough.
I jostle myself so much like this. I'm always doing this stuff.
You are not. I don't know. I'm sure I am being overly cautious,
Oh, you
but
are.
you can't blame me. And then the other reasons that I'm not thrilled about this is, like, I don't think it's very nice to well, I don't know. I just feel icky about the fact that you chose to say, like, something that really does happen to some people and is an awful thing.
Oh, just get a little
Just a
metal
little
thing?
Shrapnel.
A little bit
Yeah.
like, get a car accident, you get a little piece of metal in there?
I don't know.
I thought that was the most benign thing I could have said.
I don't know. The whole thing just makes me itchy.
I could say I have a metallic rib. I had a rib replacement. That's like at least something that never doesn't even exist. Would that be better?
Maybe.
That no one's
I don't
I'm
know.
like I'm like,
I'm not
okay,
saying
I want people to tell us, all right?
yeah.
Who was I wrong to
Are you the
am
asshole?
I exactly. This is like am I the asshole type of like a Reddit post for going back in line and giving a different reason why I had metal. I think I am totally not in the I think it's fine. They were just following orders. And then now they have a deniability that they could say, well, he didn't say. So in
Right.
case the 18-year-old's off the hook, right? Because I lied. It's on me. It's on
Yeah.
me.
Mhm.
I'm the only one that takes the risk here, not Disneyland.
I
But it's
guess.
but even so, it's like I have no more risk than the average person.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like it was a white lie. It's a white lie. I had to do it because I had to ride this coaster. It's very important
Oh, for what reason?
because it's fun and I wanted to.
Uh-huh.
And this is America.
Maybe that's the other thing that bugs me about it is it's very entitled, this behavior.
What do you mean?
It's like, I mean, and in this case,
Oh,
maybe you
so
do
many
know
people would have
better
done the same
than the
thing I did.
18-year-old because you are a physician, but it has the like
So that's the thing.
the scent of I don't care about the rules. I'm going to do what I want.
Okay, but within reason, like because I do know the path of I know I'm not an
I know
increased
that you
risk than the
do.
average person, and yes, a little bit of it was just that this kid was like, it's like
I'm going to show you,
well,
18-year-old.
it's like the kid didn't have facial hair.
So who?
It's like no,
What
I'm just
does it matter
just saying it was
about this kid?
it was
Leave the kid alone.
no, the kid's fine. It's following orders, but like part of it was just like, oh, I can't. Like I wish I know
I think you
my
could have had the
body.
Disneyland physician
know.
there and they would have said
So
the
that's the thing.
same thing
No, that's the thing. If it was,
because
if
they're
it,
not allowed
hold
because
on.
it's against the
If
rules.
it was a Disneyland cardiologist,
Mm,
the Disneyland cardiologist told me I
Mhm.
couldn't, I would have accepted it.
I don't think you would have.
I
You
absolutely
would have
would
said, like,
have.
well, he doesn't have my medical records.
No, I absolutely would have. I would have accepted it. I'd be like, I would have certainly been a little bit more cautious,
Yeah,
but that wouldn't have happened because Disneyland doesn't hire
I
cardiologists
know.
to wand people onto
the
roller
rides.
coasters. All right. So anyway, I don't think I was being the asshole. And I was very nice about it. Like to the kid, I tried to do a little bit of arguing, but then I was like, okay.
Mhm.
And I walked away. I didn't make a scene. I
Okay,
could have
good.
made a scene.
That would have been even more
No,
entitled.
no scene. Yeah, that's right, because I wasn't being entitled.
You were thinking that the rules don't apply to you, which
But not because
physiologically
right.
irrelevant.
They didn't apply to
There
me
was a rule.
because of my medical, not because of who I know, because I am
You have a medical device,
so
right?
it's a
So if they
precautionary
don't
medical
want
device.
people with medical devices on their rides, that's their prerogative.
Well,
Exactly.
I do not agree. And it was a great ride. Highly recommend Disneyland and all Disney parks. They're a lot of fun. All right, let's take one more break. We'll
Okay.
finish up with a medical topic. Hey, Chris, did you notice what I was wearing last night?
Yes, you wore a set of pajamas and they matched.
Not just any pajamas. These were Cozy Earth's bamboo pajama set.
Those are the best ones that I have ever had. They are legitimately like my favorite ever.
They're lightweight, but they're also
Yes.
warm. And I felt very comfortable. Had wonderful sleep. And now you can get a 100-night sleep trial. Try them out. If you don't like them, send them back.
Yeah.
You also have a 10-year warranty with these things.
Nothing to lose.
Share a little extra love this February and wrap yourself or someone you care about in comfort that truly feels special. Head to CozyEarth.com and use my code KNOCK for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Celebrate everyday love with comfort that makes the little moments count. All right, pick I need a page from 32 to 706.
526.
I got my trusty first aid book right here
Mm-hmm.
with all the medical information you need to pass your boards and becoming a doctor. We have effects of strokes.
Oh, hey, that's timely.
How about that? Yeah, this is with Heart Month. Stroke is, we learned this recently, the third leading cause of death in women.
That's right.
Is stroke. So let's see. All right, so this page is all about the effects of different strokes.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'll do is talk about if you have a stroke affecting a certain artery in your brain, what does it do? Okay. So we have your anterior circulation in your brain.
Well, hold on. First, you got to back up a little bit.
Sure. What is a stroke?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I know the like
I'll keep it basic.
Big, like high level, what is a stroke? And I know that it means like
people might want to know.
Didn't get to your part of your brain, but like what's going on in a stroke?
Right. So what happens in a stroke is something occludes a blood vessel. It could be a plaque from from your heart or from your neck. Lots of anything that can obstruct a blood vessel. It could be fat. That's something. Fat emboli, air emboli, basically some kind of embolus. Gets in there, clogs or blocks off an artery, and then all the tissue that is supplied by that artery downstream of it becomes ischemic, and it's a time thing. So after a certain amount of time, the damage from not having blood flow to that part of the brain becomes permanent.
I just got to tell you, if you're talking to the average person here, as we set this up, they don't know. I don't know what's ischemic.
Ischemic, the loss of blood flow,
like
lack of blood flow, adequate amount of blood flow, causes you to lose function of that tissue. It could be anything. It could be your brain. It could be your heart. That's what a heart attack is.
Mm-hmm.
You lose blood flow to a certain part of the heart. Yeah, it's sure. Yes. And so what we're going to do is talk about some of the effects of having a stroke that affects a different, like when you have an occlusion in a different part of the brain. Okay. So there's two main parts of the circulation to the brain. There's anterior. You have anterior circulation. You have posterior circulation. All right, we're going to talk about anterior circulation.
Front part.
The front part. All right. So you have your anterior cerebral artery.
Okay.
All right. Big one goes toward the front part of the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Frontal lobe and probably some of your parietal lobe as well. Basically, just
pretty important one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's say the lesion. They say the lesion, that just means like That's where the occlusion is that causes the damage to that part of the brain.
Okay, so it's not where the brain itself
Well,
is
it's
damaged.
no, it
It's
is.
where the
It is the lesion is that's the damaged brain.
ischemic parts.
Yeah, when a neurologist pimps a med student and says, "Where's the lesion?"
Mm-hmm.
Then you're asking, where is the damage in the brain happening?
Right.
That's causing the patient to have certain symptoms.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
if you have the lesion, the lack of blood flow, the dead brain
Mm-hmm.
or damaged brain in the motor and sensory cortices,
Mhm.
your motor cortex, your sensory cortex,
Yep.
that'll give you paralysis.
Mhm.
Is it
Well,
ipsilateral or
motor
contralateral?
will.
Ipsilateral or contralateral paralysis?
It's not where I thought you were going, so I wasn't listening. Okay, so it's in the frontal?
Let's say you have
Yeah, you gotta tell me
a
where this
stroke
happened.
that affects your motor cortex
Well, you have motor
on your
cortex on
right
both
side.
sides. Okay. So what is your question?
Where's your paralysis going to be? On that side or
Okay,
the
so
left side?
your right cortex is damaged,
Yeah.
so your paralysis will be on the left.
Yeah. It's contralateral paralysis
Yes.
and sensory loss.
Mhm.
All right. How about that's your anterior cerebral artery? Your middle cerebral artery, that could get your face and upper limbs.
Mhm.
You get contralateral paralysis, sensory loss.
Do you ever learn the homunculus in medical school?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what this is making me
Yeah.
think of.
It's my favorite insult from the neurologist
Yeah.
is
Right.
called him somebody a real life walking homunculus. The middle cerebral artery also affects the temporal lobe.
Yeah.
So you know what you get whenever you have a lack of function in the temporal lobe?
Well, hearing, probably loss of theory of mind, facial recognition.
Hemineglect is something, yeah. And neglect is where you just like hemineglect would be like half of your field.
Yeah. There's just
You just
no
you
info.
don't recognize it. You don't see it. You might be able to see it, but you don't
process
you
it.
don't process it. But also aphasia.
Yeah.
Aphasia is a big part of the middle cerebral artery,
Mm-hmm.
the parts of the temporal lobe. So Wernicke area
Yep.
and Broca area. So Wernicke aphasia is when you have like
You're
constant
telling me.
producing speech, but you're not taking anything in.
Mm-hmm.
Broca is when you can take it in, but you can't produce it. Broca.
Mm-hmm.
What do you?
Broca's area. Paul Broca was his name.
Oh. I forgot you were friends.
It's just I'm what you saw on my face is me holding your tongue about you telling me about neuroscience.
I'm
know that
not telling you.
I
I'm
know,
telling the
I know,
audience
I know.
through you.
I know it's just hard to
All right.
when you're watching TV and they're talking about something and they're just like
Okay. Anyway, the most fascinating part of the
Yes.
circulation that I've been trying to get to
Yeah.
is the posterior circulation.
You like that because it
that-
affects the visual cortex.
The occipital lobe, the greatest lobe of all the lobes.
That one was always the most boring to me. It's sorry.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What's your hierarchy of lobes?
Frontal.
Then what?
Top.
Okay.
Then probably temporal. Then parietal, then occipital.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Ugh.
This is the difference. Like that's why it's hard for me
So
to
awful.
pay attention to ophthalmology stuff. Like it just doesn't do it for me for whatever reason. And it predates you. It predates the ophthalmology.
So with occipital lobe strokes, you
Mhm.
can get obviously a hemianopia. So we talked about hemineglect. Well, hemianopia is where you don't have vision on half. And those are always very difficult conversations to have with patients who have a stroke, all of a sudden have a hemianopia because you
Yeah.
can't drive with hemianopia.
Sure.
You can drive with a quadrantopia if you just lose a quadrant. But if you completely lose half your visual field in both eyes, and this throws people for a loop because if you lose an eye, you can still drive.
Because you have the
Because
whole
you
field
have
still.
both fields in the other eye.
Mhm.
But if you take half of your field in both eyes,
Right. Then you just cannot see that part of the world.
You cannot see that part of the world unless you do some real,
Mhm.
But most states, when you're qualifying for a license, they'll have some form of peripheral field assessment.
Mhm.
And so I got to report that kind of.
Okay, but if you have just a quadrant, what if it's like the the like lower left quadrant
Does it?
where now I can't see my mirror on that side. I can't see my blind spot on that side. That still seems problematic.
It is problematic. That's why it's more of a conversation with the patient and whether or not they feel, because legally they can. You just have to have degrees of horizontal field.
Mm.
All right. And so that can even be just above your midline, but you still have all that visual field. So it's a conversation of like, do you feel safe? Do you, are you, but legally they can do it. They can qualify with a quadrant. Other things that they
I have a question though. If you have, what'd you call it? Hemianopia?
Hemianopia.
If you have that, I wonder what the eyes do. Like, do the eyes move to that part of the visual field at all ever? Or is it just the brain doesn't even know that it's there, so why would your eyes ever go over there?
No, your eyes.
Like, if your eye is still seeing it happen, but it's just you're not realizing that it happened.
So your visual fields move with your eyes. So if you're talking about like if someone who would just like not look to that side, that's more hemi-neglect.
Okay.
Hemianopia, you can still
your eyes are still going to go all over the place, but you just wherever the hemisphere
I've had patients that regardless of what I say or what anybody says, they still drive with it. And they say that what they do is they'll just scan. They'll scan.
Yeah.
And so they know that's not, they don't see over there. And so they will move their eyes.
The place they don't see moves as they move their eyes.
You got it. Another thing that an occipital lobe stroke gives you is prosopagnosia. So inability to recognize familiar faces. That's typically in the non-dominant hemisphere. And I think we'll stop there.
Well, hold on. How come? I would think that the temporal lobe would have to be involved in prosopagnosia. Like, why does just visual cortex? Like,
I don't know if it's
is there a part of your visual cortex that is particularly attuned to faces? Because in the temporal cortex, there is.
I don't know. Maybe there's multiple. Listen, the brain is a very complex organ.
That's a cop-out answer.
Maybe it happens in both places. I don't know.
That's my question. I wouldn't have predicted visual cortex would matter other than that you can't see the person,
I will look more into prosopagnosia and give you a more detailed explanation of the pathways
specifically as it relates to the occipital cortex.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a good point. Interesting. And the last little thing I want to say is, do you know what artery is involved in locked-in syndrome?
Oof. I don't know what artery is involved, but man, that sounds awful.
Do you know what that is?
I do.
Locked-in, yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a literal nightmare.
You're aware, but you can't move. And sometimes all you can
can't move, can't speak. People may not know you're aware.
Yeah, exactly. It's the basilar artery. So it's one of those posterior circulation because it hits the brainstem.
Yeah. That makes sense.
All right. I think that's all I can do for.
But you got to talk about vision.
I did. That's a good thing. And Heart Month and everything. Stroke is a big deal.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
I didn't even do that on purpose. That was a happy coincidence.
That was. Let me know if you have any thoughts about prosopagnosia or about ChatGPT Health.
I'm sure there are thoughts about that.
Are you going to give all your medical records over to an AI? I don't know. I'd love to hear why or why not. You can email us, knockknockhi@human-content.com. Visit on social media platforms. You can leave a comment on our YouTube channel. That's probably the easiest way for us to actually see your thoughts. Thanks to all the great listeners leaving feedback and reviews. If you subscribe and comment on your favorite podcasting app, we could use some of those. Like go drop a review over on like Apple or Spotify. We can give you a shout out like on YouTube at Glauc and Fleckens. At Half Banana Woman said, really enjoying these mystery cases. So I've been doing that on Knock Knock Eye.
Yeah.
Where I like present a mystery case.
Right.
Figure out.
Isn't that a thing you do like in your
medicine?
training?
I mean,
They
that's
like present a case and you have to
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, we do it. It's always fun to
Yeah.
do that because you get a little information over time. You ask, well, did you check this? And then they give you more info. Like, I did check that, and this was the result.
Right.
And then you start thinking through. It's a really good time.
Yeah. Everybody loves a mystery.
Everyone loves a good mystery.
I have a lot of questions, though, about Half Banana Woman's handle.
Half Banana Woman.
I would love to know the story behind that.
So check it out. Full video episodes are up every week on our YouTube channel at Glauc and Fleckens. We also have a Patreon. Lots of cool perks. Bonus episodes where we react to medical shows and movies. Other members of the Knock Knock High community, early every episode access, interactive community live stream events, much more. Patreon.com/Glauc and Flecken. Speaking of Patreon community perks, let's do a new member shout out to Alec B and Leland D. Thanks for being patrons. And shout out to the Jonathans as usual. Lucia C, Edward K, Marion W, Mr. Granddaddy, Caitlin C, Brianna L, MP Cole, Mary H, Parker, Muhammad L, David H, Kaylee A, Gabe, Gary M, Eric B, Marlene S, Scott M, Kelsey M, Dr. Hoover, Sean M, Ryan N, Jess K, Hawkeye MD, Bubbly Salt, and Shani D. Patreon roulette time, random shout some of the emergency medicine tier. Shout out to Jennifer S for being a patron. Thanks, Jennifer. And thank you all for listening. We're your hosts, Will and Kristen Flannery, also known as the Glauc and Fleckens. Our executive producers are Will Flannery, Kristen Flannery, Aaron Cordy, Rob Goldman, and Shanti Brick. Our editor and engineer is Jason Portizer. Our music is by Omer Benzvi. To learn about Knock Knock High's program, disclaimer, ethics policy, submission, verification, and licensing terms, and HIPAA release terms, go to glaucandflecken.com or reach out to us, knockknockhigh at human-content.com with questions, concerns, or fun medical puns. Knock Knock High is a human content production.
Goodbye.
Thanks for watching the episode. You can find more on that playlist over there. If you prefer to listen, or you just had your eyes dilated, you can binge full episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Or join the party over on Patreon, where you get early access episodes, hang out with us, get lots of exclusive bonus content. Help you subscribe, leave a comment below. Let us know what you think.